We are joined by Lincoln Miley, who's the Chief Executive Officer at Lesaka Technologies. Thank you so much for your time, Lincoln.
Thanks for having me, Heidi.
We do appreciate it. Now, a lot of your work has been bringing services to underserved communities, and I'm curious to know why that was important and what you've learned over time.
I spent 20 years in a traditional financial institution. I was frustrated by the pace of change. I thought financial inclusion was important, not only for this country, but for this continent. And when I was given an opportunity to go to a fintech that was focused on financial inclusion, I grabbed with both hands. It's been a tough journey, yet fulfilling when you can see solutions that can change consumers' lives and change the business trajectory for merchants in townships and villages and inner cities.
So what have you been able to achieve given your frustrations and what you experience and the slow pace of change? Have you brought about that change that you want to see?
Yeah, we've been able to bring about change where, for give an example, 4 years ago, 90% of grant recipients in this country were being paid in cash, in open fields, no dignity, lots of insecurity. But today, 80% are being paid through the payment system, through banking, so that they choose which bank they will use. I've now got 2 million customers that hitherto would have been outside of the banking system. Out of that, I'm able to offer, financial services to taverns. I'm able to offer financial services to spaza shops. So these are people that were not seen before, but we want to see them and be able to offer them financial services.
I'm curious to know what your thoughts are about this digital ID that many have spoken about being important to bring about and implement to transform the payment system.
I think it's very important. I think it enables everybody who's participating in the economy, who uses cash, to have some form of a digital ID so that they can fully participate in the economy. Today, everybody uses cash, whether you're foreign or you're local, whether you are registered or not registered. Digital ID also enables people to use that. The issues about being registered or lawfully in the country or not, that's a separate process and that will take its course. But people who are here will use cash, and I think the digital ID is part of the building blocks of building a very different and modern payment system in South Africa.
What about a cashless versus cash smart society?
I think for me, I'd like to think of smart cash, which means that when people want to use cash, I must provide solutions for cash. When people want to use digital, I must be able to give them solutions that do that. Let me give one or two examples.
Sure.
If I go to a service station or a petrol station, I can give 100 rands. That 100 rands goes into the till, goes to the digital vault. Immediately that 100 rands is digitized. It's immediately available to the owner of that service station. They can pay suppliers, they can pay anything. In the traditional sense, that money would have stayed there until a cash in transit company comes, goes to the cash center, collect it, and then later count it, and then they give them value. But now they get instant value. That 100 rand is being digitized immediately. That makes a difference in people's lives because cash flow is like the oxygen for businesses.
Let's talk about how we can ensure that there's more inclusion when it comes to the digital space. I mean, fintechs are now starting to take a little bit more space. But I mean, we do live in a country and on the continent where there are obstacles and challenges. How do we make sure that people are included digitally?
I think that what you need is smart regulation that meets the market where the market is, that meets people where the people are. If you look at countries like Ghana, you look at the growth of mobile wallet in Ghana, you look at M-Pesa in Kenya, you look at some of the regulatory environment in Nigeria, it's enabled for growth in digital payments. You look at what has happened in India, what has happened in Brazil, South Africa needs that. And I think our regulators are now on the cusp of making some big announcements that enable that. What we're looking for from regulators is to give a sense of direction, then allow the market players to play. There are many innovators, there are many founders of teen fintech that are chomping at the bit to come with viable solutions that will enable viable digital solutions to either complement cash or replace cash, depending on what the customer wants.
Just speak to me about Lusaka acquiring a bank.
It's very interesting. You know, Heidi, we are in a space of change. Nobody's staying in their lane. We hear of insurance companies building banks. We hear of ShopRite wanting to have a bank. We see banks, selling value-added services. So now Lusaka has put in a bid to buy Bank Zero because it will make sense to build a platform that includes a deposit-taking institution. So for us, it's exciting to have Bank Zero. This is a business that's been built by amazing entrepreneurs, Michael and Yatin, who've built a bank. And with us bringing a bit of capital, a bit of customer base and distribution, that's an amazing collaboration. And they bring a lot of experience and expertise, and they built to our team. We've also heard that Nedbank has bought Coca. Nobody's staying in their lane. This environment is one of excitement. What solutions can we offer to clients? And so these things about even bank or non-bank, they're crazy labels, because in the end, it is what do you offer and what's your value proposition. The labels will come later. So lots of excitement.
Sure, and let's speak about those policy interventions that are going to be needed to ensure growth and inclusivity.
Yeah, I think the regulators have signaled a lot of things that they want to do. One is they've been able to buy Pay Inc., the old bank serve,
Yeah.
and they are now going to use that as the the groundwork for payments in this country. This is going to be the rails that are being built for fast payments, fast rails that are cost effective to the user and merchants. And that's a big change. They are bringing about changes on us have standardized QR codes throughout the country. They are bringing changes about the digital ID. And I think more profoundly, they are going to create a regulatory framework that enables fintechs, retailers, telcos to fully participate in the payment system without needing the sponsorship of a bank. This is coming in a matter of weeks, and we're very, very excited about it.
And just lastly, what would you say has been the highlight of this conference, and how things are going to look in the next 5 to 10 years when it comes to the payment system on the African continent?
Selfishly for me, two big things stand out. The first one is we started at the beginning of this year to pull all the fintechs together that wanted to drive this change. And we formed an organization called the Association of South African Payment Providers, ASAP. We started with 8 companies, now we've got 15 companies, and the top CEOs of those companies are part of this ASAP. And we were first time coming together in this conference to give a voice to fintechs. And the language and the topics were now having us as fintechs in the center, not on the periphery. Secondly, to hear the regulators saying in a matter of days, the entire payment landscape will change in ways that we could only have imagined in the past is what has made it greatly exciting for me.
Great. Thanks so much for your time.
Thanks, Heidi.